Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Beer Bros, the podcast. As always, we got the king of the red and the blue pill, Zach
Hey guys,
Morpheus.
it's me, Zachary Kaiser slash Morpheus, king of the red and blue pill.
And today we got someone else too. So this is a mutual friend of me, and as you've seen on the episodes of Beer Bros, Evan, this is the one we've been advertising for so long. We got Hank on the channel.
Hey, what's up, guys? Happy to be here.
All right, so today's topic is basically all about how technology is taking over. It's
Yep.
crazy, AIs now. It's a
Yeah,
matter of time, I feel like, before they're going to get AI to do movie scripts because Hollywood is dying.
I know. Well, you know what? It has really nothing to do with that. I just think it has to do with a deeper sense because a lot of those writers, they pour their heart and souls into their scripts, like how an artist puts his heart and soul onto a canvas. So you have to consider their hard work versus an AI that could publish like that.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Even with schoolwork, where was AI when we needed it, Henry? Where was it?
Yeah, we got I guess we got kind of the short end of the stick because that stuff wasn't really popular and probably about our or accessible until about maybe my senior year of college. But at the end of the day, like it's way too easy to get a what like initially sounds like a well thought out answer from AI, but then if you actually read through it, it's actually has almost no substance to it. So you can have it, you can tell it to explain you something or help write an essay or something. But if you actually go through and read it, for the most part, it's basically just like a bunch of like industry jargon and words thrown together, almost to sound intelligent. But
But at the same
it's still
time,
not at
just
the
use it
point
as an
where it actually
example.
understands how to make an argument and defend it. Like it's just like you can use it to rearrange and rewrite sections of things you've already written, but I don't think that anyone could very successfully use it to write like a whole script or a whole
I'm saying for
cohesive.
ideas, though, write as an idea topic, write me a story about, I don't know, a kid going to school and there's a lot of activities going on. I'm sure AI could type that up.
Yeah.
You
It can.
know,
I've experimented with it and given it just like random prompts about like write me an episode of SpongeBob where this happens. Write me an episode of Seinfeld where this happens. Stuff like that. And you can definitely get it to produce something at like kind of like a decent quality and like I've noticed like when I've done that, it does kind of pick up on the character's mannerisms a bit. Like Mr. Krabs, they will write the script as if it's like actually like the way Mr. Krabs talks in the show. Um, but the thing is, I still don't think it's producing original thoughts. I still think it's basically just taking all of its inputs and just kind of cranking out something from that. But again, it's not. I wouldn't call it like at least like a Chat GPT or something.
but
I
still,
don't
though,
know if it's necessarily true intelligence.
but then again, it's definitely giving ideas to people that need it. I mean, you might not be able to copy and paste the whole thing, but you could get some topics out of there. Remember when we were in school? We had to do hours and hours of homework. Now you can just type in a prompt and get the ideas from AI.
Yeah, that's true. I had this idea where, and I talked to a couple of people about it. And actually, I did go to the AI website, and it's actually really cool. Like, I can understand maybe if you're trying to brainstorm, or if you're having a hard time, like if you're in English class and you're having a hard time trying to type up a titled essay, and I can understand using it for a little help, this and that, but the problem with advancing technology now is that it's making more and more people lazy to the point
Yeah, that
where
too.
they don't have to do this no more.
Imagine what it's going to be like in 10 years from now. I mean,
Actually,
I don't
really.
know if this is true, but this is something I've been hearing a lot of. You hear about what they're doing with like a chip now? They can use your hand to pay credit cards and stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Wait, they have that?
They didn't make it yet, but it's in the process. You heard about it, Henry?
I
No.
haven't heard about that, and I hate that idea.
So do
It
I. I
seems
mean, that's like invading of privacy.
Well, I mean,
Imagine
well, the
someone,
government
you
has
have that in your
like that.
chip and you get taken hostage. They got all the info right there.
Yeah. Well, actually, bro, I think that has to do with more of the government's doing. And in truth be told, the government's always spying on us. They're almost like that big brother. Like, Henry, would you agree with me on that?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're probably watching this right now.
I wouldn't be surprised. Imagine one of us get a text message. I know we're watching you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Zach,
CIA,
Zach gets a
NSA, and
text message
FBI
on
are
his
all the
phone.
first viewers on this.
Oh yeah.
Zach
Or
gets a text message on
get
his
typed
phone.
up,
Stop
you're on
talking shit
this.
about the government.
Yeah, I know. Or imagine you get put on the list. The CIA is currently watching you on a watch list. So I'm like, okay, so the CIA is gonna waste their time on me.
Next
And
thing you
I
know, Zach turns around and he's got the SWAT team behind him.
yeah, yeah. A couple of times when I tried hooking up my Wi-Fi, I always see an FBI surveillance ban.
Dude, listen to this. Listen to this. I was talking about a topic, right? Me and my friends when we were hanging out. This is true. And I open my phone, and the first thing that pops up on Google is the topic we were talking about.
Really?
I was telling Henry knows this. Henry's gonna like this topic. I was talking about how the Chiefs are all the Chiefs players and the trades and stuff. And it
Mhm.
said predicted trades. And I wasn't even kidding. It like listens to our topic.
Yeah, no,
I hop
that's
in
how.
the car and I'm trying to listen to music and I have the radio on and it's picking up the signal from the radio looking up that artist.
Really?
Isn't this ridiculous?
I think our government's gone overboard with the whole because it has to do with also signing into the Patriot Act, where they think if you're a threat, then they can monitor you and watch what you're gonna do.
At
But
the end of the day, there's so many traffic cams, street cams, and cameras to the point where are we really safe again with no cameras?
Honestly, I think it's kind of interesting, right? Like to an extent within society, you need to make trade-offs. And I think that there's a general trade-off between a few things like safety and freedom. I think is actually a big trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Like if you had most of the population and threw them in effectively like jail where no one had access to any weapons, anything like that, like everyone just kind of like lived in an isolated cell, yeah, there would be like no crime, right? At the end of the day you have maximum safety, but you have completely, shot freedom down to zero. Whereas like on the other hand, you think of like some like pre-civilization, you know, you know, time hundreds of thousands of years ago, and everyone's just running around with like sticks and stones, like
yeah,
smacking each other with it. Like, yeah, you have like pure freedom, you do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you don't have any kind of
But then
like
again,
safety. Yeah,
remember this before this traffic cams and stuff. Remember back in the days, you were able to walk around at like 2 in the morning without having to worry about crime rates. You
yeah.
remember, like
So
like they talk about it. All of us weren't alive at that time period. We're all,
yeah.
I don't want to say our ages, but we're definitely not, but probably after the time period, the 80s, after the 80s. We
I,
weren't around in the 80s.
Yeah, well, I would have to agree with you on that. The problem is the reason why, and it's a slow and steady process. First, there's like, okay, you're walking on the subway trying to get to where you're going, then you get mugged or attacked,
Right. So I
and
guess there's good and there's bad things with the
yeah, I know,
cameras.
but here's my point. So the point is, it's like now you try to call the cops, and the cops are gonna say, "Well, why were you traveling here at 2 a.m. in the morning?" I'm like, "Well, why do you care? I was just attacked, mugged, violently held that the guy committed armed robbery. Why does it matter if I was out here on the waiting for a train at 2 a.m. in the morning? Like, shouldn't you find the guy so he doesn't do this to anybody else?
I agree.
And
Yeah.
it's like you have all this technology and you guys aren't doing effective things with it. Okay.
You guys are too busy writing us tickets instead of using it for the real crime.
Yeah.
Right, Zach? What? I mean, they'd rather give people traffic tickets than catch the guy getting mugged right around the corner.
Yeah, I know.
You agree on that, Henry?
I know, I definitely do. I mean, realistically, it's an easier part of the job. So I mean, like, it sucks, but people are just gonna go to like the lowest common denominator a lot of the time. And I do like, I don't know, it's a complicated thing, right? Because a lot of police officers are putting their lives on the line daily for stuff. But then you also see instances where they're definitely way more passive in situations than they need to be, or they're overly aggressive and make rash judgments. I think that kind of the anti-police sentiment that's become popular, especially in the past few years, has driven a lot of the higher quality people away from going into the armed forces. I mean, of course, there are some of those people, but it's why would you become a police officer, right now, if general consensus in society is we hate cops. So I think it's just probably attracting a different type of person than it was 10 years ago, let's say.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, there's still, with these cameras, there's so many cases still going on that are unsolved that we have the technology to find them.
Yeah. And the problem is, and Henry, I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this. Like, okay, so what's your thoughts on technology while we're at war?
And the drones are great.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I'm saying the drones are great with the war. We're using drones instead of putting soldiers on the line. It's saving a lot of opportunities for lives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about as anti-war as they come. I think drone, in a way, is a step in the right direction. In terms of protecting, more lives. I also do think that it probably eases and kind of dehumanitizes some people on the other side. It's a lot easier to like go off and do something atrocious when you're just doing on a computer screen than in person.
Well, if that thing gets shot down, look at it this way: that thing gets shot down, you didn't just waste a life.
No, I agree. I think that's the great thing, right? Like, you're definitely reducing lives on one side. I think that it is possible that people could get, I think it'd be easier to get carried away. If you were flying a drone and the person you see, you're just seeing a person on a camera screen. Like, you're not actually having to interact with the person physically, like in the battlefield. You're just it's at the end of the day, like it. I mean, I'm sure it feels different than a video game, but it probably feels more gamified and less less like intimate than actually having to go to war and physically be there.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said before, a drone gets shot down, that's not another person off Earth. Sure, that's a lot of money down the drain.
Yeah.
But it's better than sacrificing someone's life on the line.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to say, you both make great points. The only couple things, here's the only thing. Like, yeah, you're right. If a drone gets shot down and gets shot down, no innocent life is lost. The only problem is like, what if the enemy tries to reverse engineer and tries to reuse it? Or what if the enemy
try to reuse it, then we have the technology to take it down.
Yeah,
we're the ones that built it.
Yeah, but that's almost using the same methods we do. And in warfare, you constantly have to change your methods. Like, and this is just me personally. It's like, look, yeah, you're right. We do have to look out for civilian casualties, but guys, let's be honest. Warfare is never fair. It's you take the fight to the
It's
end.
true. It's never fair.
It's like, in my this is just my book again, my opinion. It's just that, look, if you're gonna go to war, take the fight to the enemy, break their backs, do whatever, and then be nice to them afterwards, because like otherwise you're gonna have tons and tons of problems. And the other issue with technology at war is that you will constantly need the humans in that equation. Technology cannot always solve your problem. But again, that's just my thing.
My question is, so let's say, let's pretend it's 10 years in the future. In
Yeah.
America and most developed Western countries are fighting with almost exclusively drones and stuff.
Mhm.
At what point is anyone saying, like, why are we sitting here and fighting drones and not taking the fight to the country? Or let's say both sides have the technology to sit there and fight with drones. Why is either side in a conflict gonna sit there and do a bunch of virtual, basically drone fights
Yeah,
in,
it's like you
the
might as well
middle
At
of
that
hang out.
point, it's
nowhere?
like practically a
Why
video
would
game.
you do that if the object is effectively to eliminate the other side? Why would you not go and start just doing drone strikes and stuff on the other area's homeland, or just go and invade? I mean, at
Yeah.
some point, I think it's going to become like I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the circular theory, where it's like
What's
you
the
start kind of
circular
like
theory?
getting so far away from like the original point that it
Mhm.
ends up kind of looping back, right? Like I think at a certain point, if two sides are just blowing up each other's drones over and over, what are you going to do? Are you trying to bleed the other side dry of money? Like that's not going to work for almost any major country or power.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, it's going to be either send drones over to do something in that, in the other country's homeland, or just actually physically go invade.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, Henry, because like, and this isn't it's not just particular wars or certain wars, it's every war. War, you need to win by basically attrition, which is you have to throw as much bodies as you can, and even if you lose men, you could still come out on top because
At the end of the
you're
day,
using.
war is a sacrifice.
Yeah, and at the end, and also too, is like I said, there's no easy way around it. It's like I said, you have to break the enemy, like you said, Henry, break the enemy's backs, take the capital, and then move on.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
mean,
but also like, okay, like what at what point does technology start to turn war against your own nation's troops, though?
it could happen if, with technology. There's such thing as hacking
And propaganda.
and everything. Henry, if you could build it, someone could hack it.
That's very true, and I think, like I think you see like honestly, I would have to imagine most of the conflicts right now, at least between major powers, almost no one on the individual level like really wants to be there. Like if I had to throw out a wild guess, most of the people that are fighting in like the Ukraine Russia conflict right now
Mhm.
probably don't want to be there. That it's just very much like a government thing. And I mean
Mhm.
I mean if you look at like I don't know the statistics, but if I had to guess, majority of people who are fighting in Vietnam were probably drafted, and would have rather not been there. So I mean, yeah, I think at a certain point, people are just I mean, simply not interested in doing that. Obviously, right? I mean, it's not safe. It's not fun.
I mean, some
You're
people
away
want
from
to go, but at the
some
end of the
people who do
day,
want to go.
let's be honest, with Ukraine and all the wars going on, I would say about 45% of them don't probably want to be there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a pretty significant amount. Like, you
Yeah.
probably don't want to be there.
Like, for example, I'm not gonna lie. If I had to go into war, yeah, I would. But if I had the choice, no, I wouldn't. Right, Zach?
Same thing with me. I actually, well, when I was younger, I was actually considering military enlistment because you can get a lot of benefits from that. But then I heard a lot of other people that the GI Bill is still good, blah blah blah. And then the other side said, "No, the GI Bill isn't what it used to be. You're still wasting your time. Even if you do go through, you still end up with college debt." So to me, the military is like, you know what? Like, if the military to me is doing great, then they
But
won't need my body. But if
that
they desperately do,
explains to a lot of things too, Zach. A lot of the technology now is all gonna be about brains, like we were talking about earlier, drone strikes.
yeah. But at
That's
the
all
same time,
technology. That's coding.
I know, but at the same time, you still need to take and hold stuff. Because, and truth be told, like you know what? And I'm gonna say this: I'm an old warfare kind of person. Like I've read from wars from antiquity to modernized one. And in truth be told, like you still need genius military strategists to wage war,
Of
even
course,
with technology.
you
It's
gotta
all
be
about
smart.
blending, and
That's
it's
why
all
there's
about
different ranks
blending
in the
the
military.
assets.
But it's a matter of time before, like we said earlier, drone strikes. There's so many things we hear on the news that they're creating.
I know, but it's again, you still need men to take and hold that ground that the
Yeah, I'm
drone
not
can't
saying
do.
that we're always going to need men in the warfare. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, these drones are limiting how many men we need in the field. With technology, things are doing better, Let's
I know
with
that,
technology.
but here's the other problem. The other problem that you have to look at the drone strikes though are the civilian
Yeah, that's
casualties
true.
cause,
Why
which
can't we
is
just say
also
this? Why does there have to be any fucking wars, right, Henry?
I think that's a great question. And it would be great if the answer to that was there aren't any needed. Um, but
But
I
yeah,
mean, guess there kind of always have been, right?
I mean,
yeah.
there's no wars going on now. Well, I mean, there
There are
is, but
multiple wars going on right now.
Well,
I don't
actually,
mean
there's
it in that way. I mean nothing that's affecting to the point where me, you, and Zach have to worry.
I
I mean,
can name a couple of civil wars that are going
I'm talking
on that
about
are
since we've been
wars
alive,
don't.
Zach.
since
I
we've been
know.
alive,
I'm just
I'm
saying
talking about personally
I can
when.
name a couple of civil wars that are going on, but because of also technology, it's broken down countries' communications to communicate with one another. Like Henry, I know this probably. By the way, Henry, I don't know if you're going to disagree with me on this, but do you think kind of the UN is kind of not doing as well as it did in the days past?
honestly, don't know why the UN exists.
I
Like,
agree.
just one from like an actual historical perspective. I actually don't know why it exists. Like, I know we did that whole like League of Nations things after World War One, and I guess we
But
just kind
that
of like,
didn't work.
well, yeah, it didn't work, right? And I mean, what does the UN do now? I mean, they just like run around and act like the world police for international conflicts. I mean, I don't know. It seems to be a way to. I think it was well intentioned. I think it was something that people actually thought would potentially help. But I mean, it's so spun off from its original
I mean,
goal.
at the end of the day, with this whole Ukraine and Gaza and everything, how is it? It's us going into the battle, us giving out weapons,
And nobody else is doing it.
and nobody else is doing anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably funding both sides of almost every conflict to an extent. I mean, whether it's we're sending aid to Ukraine, but if I don't know the data, but if I had to guess, we're probably buying oil from Russia, or at least we have done that for many years, knowing the type of people they are.
Well,
We I mean send tons of money everywhere in the Middle East. Whether it's for defense or oil or anything like that. I mean, there's so much money that America's giving out that it's, we
And we're
really
already in
are
debt.
probably funding. Pardon me?
We're already in debt with enough money.
Yeah. I mean, we're so severely in debt, and then we're, going on and financing every single war around both sides of it. Just kind of perpetrating it.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's a bunch of lose-lose situations we've kind of
I mean,
set
back to the
ourselves up in.
technology aspect too. We're spending so much money in technology too. I mean, like I'm I'm anti-war. I don't like war. I'm just as much as you, Henry. But if we need to
Mhm.
put that money down in order to save soldiers' lives, I understand that part.
Yeah,
But
I
why do
agree.
we? You agree on that? But the
Mhm.
point is we have no money to give out right now.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
no competent generals to fuel, because like the problem is, and like, you know what it is, and like I said, I've read a lot of history books about the wars America has gone into and has been involved with. And but then again, you can talk about that every nation, like the British Empire, the French Empire, the when Italy, when it was the Roman Empire, like every single culture has built its bones upon another culture, and including when cultures were existed in individual tribal societies. The problem also lies now is the fact, like, the UN, it has existed for over, like, would you say 60 to 70 years now when it was made. But the problem is that there was no micropayments. You didn't have micropayments back then. You didn't have digital, like, financial stuff you have to sort through. Like, the problem is also is that, and Henry, I don't know if you're going to disagree with me on this, is that I came to the conclusion from stuff that I've read, and again, this is my own thing, is that the UN is good for policing nations that don't have to be policed. Now, what about
Yeah.
nations that have to be policed by the UN? Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I mean, so many of these things, countries like in America go in and set this up, and they think, okay, we'll abide by the rules, and that'll encourage everyone else to abide by the rules. And whether America actually does or doesn't abide by those rules, is up for debate. But I'm very confident there are a lot of other places that certainly don't get punished to the same extent that America would if we got caught doing anything unsavory. So like it's there's definitely um I think it's a kind of interesting way that we've pushed for um global equality or global fairness from military perspective, that we've built up the most powerful military and have basically also helped put a lot of things in place to where we have to go out and protect the whole world. And also, we're going to get the most scrutinized when it comes to any kind of policing of it. So, I mean, we've basically just shot ourselves in the foot multiple times in a row by, pumping out, building up a military and then helping set up a bunch of stuff so that we need to keep it big. We have no other option to. And also, funding a bunch of our own self-policing of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like it's just some like unnecessary. We've put a bunch of what I would consider, largely unnecessary red tape, where it's like it's like the only people who are going to listen to these rules and regulations are going to be the types of people who wouldn't go out and mess things up originally.
I agree on that.
Yeah. Yes,
So,
and
that's like I said,
oh,
I
sorry.
agree on that stuff. But let's say this right now, a little bit off topic, but Henry, what's your? I always like to ask this. Something new I want to do. What's your beer of choice, Henry? We are called the Beer Bros. Beer of choice.
Beer of choice. Oh, I got that. Actually, I did get this on the last time I was on here. But I'll go through it again because it is. I will gladly push this beer. Duck Rabbit Milk Stout. Duck Rabbit is a small brewery in North Carolina. I haven't seen the Duck Rabbit beer being sold outside of North Carolina to Virginia. And the milk stout's a good one. I'm a big stout fan. So think of like a Guinness or something if you're not as familiar with stouts.
Guinness is fucking good.
Guinness is really good, and if you like a Guinness, you'll love this milk stout. It's I haven't had it in a while. It's been frankly probably been a year or two, but definitely a rich, heavier beer.
Henry, if you could find it out there, let me know. Just for the record.
Dude, if I can find it out here, I'm gonna buy up the whole stock.
Yeah, just for the record, guys, this is something that Henry and I have been talking about. It's a possibility I might film an episode over there because Henry and I are friends. So if that happens, there could be a video with me, Henry, and Evan, who was featured in one of our other podcast videos. Well, Beer Bros, the series, not the podcast. And then we'll have Zach on Zoom or Skype. All of us in person drinking beer reviews.
Yeah.
I think that would be dope, right, Henry?
That'd be great. We could all get a beer too that, a nicer, something a little bit higher brow than a Modelo.
Yeah, especially something better than Corona.
Your fruit flavored Corona. Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I was at a store and I found some exotic beers that I tried already, and I was like, I never seen this. Let me give it a try. It's that. How do you expect to find beers and stuff? Remember, Zach, when you used to get the Cinnamon Toast Crunch beers, the chocolate peanut butter ones? Oh,
yeah, I used to get, I used to get a lot of good lagers. I got a lot of good IPAs you liked. I got a lot of different stuff.
I'm talking about the disgusting ones. You called me up one day, yo, I got this beer called Sweet Baby Jesus. Like, what is it? Chocolate peanut butter. I go, shit, that's not going to be good. Next thing you know, Zach's killing the can.
That sounds kind of good, I'm not going to lie.
Okay, first
off, no. Zach knows I'll drink anything with beer. Don't get me wrong. I killed it, but it was not enjoyable.
I know. Well, because Henry, a lot of people like chocolate and peanut butter, and when you have a mix like that, because who wouldn't want to eat, like, for example, a chocolate peanut butter ice cream?
I agree. Chocolate and peanut butter is my favorite, combination for sweets.
Yeah, Reese's.
And dude, Reese's.
It's Reese's.
It's Reese's, bro. Trust me.
It's Reese's.
I've eaten more of these than you have. I can guarantee, and it's Reese's.
All right, guys, leave a description in the bottom. Is it Reese's or Reese's? I mean, it's gonna be hard to tell because the way it's spelled.
It's spelled the same way, but
I've always known it as Reese's peanut butter cups.
It's Reese's peanut butter cups, and then so
is it Reese's Pieces then?
No, it's Reese's Pieces.
Well, wait a minute. I thought it's Reese's peanut butter cups because I know there's an extra E in the middle, so you have to pronounce the E. And also, I know there's a way you have to say it because of the spelling.
It's got to be Reese's.
At this point, it is what it is. Half the shit we say out there, we're probably not even saying right.
Yeah.
It's got to be Reese's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, back to this citrus Corona beer. This shit's gross.
I would have bet.
Especially when I drank this first.
Samuel Adams.
You don't want to go in that order.
This is good. This is one of my favorite beers, cherry wheat.
Yeah, no. Samuel Adams makes a really good beer.
We got to go there one day.
Yeah, dude, I actually went to the beer. I actually did go to the brewery once. It was me, my mom, and a friend that we had at the time. Oh my God. Me and my mom got so wasted, dude. We barely even made it out of the corner.
Anyway, when I'm over there, you down to hit Sam Adams?
I'm down to hit Sam Adams. I've never been to the actual brewery. They do have walking distance from me I don't know what to call it. It's like a Sam Adams bar where they just have they have about every Sam Adams flavor you could think of. I think they've got the original.
there's a restaurant that me and my mom went to after the tour, and a friend of ours. Are you talking about Doyle's?
No, like it's literally called like Sam Adams.
Oh, okay. Because I
It's
never
Sam
been to
Adams something, but
I think that's
it's
going to
in
be an
downtown
expensive bill,
Boston.
Henry.
Pardon?
I think that's going to be a crazy bill, guys. Knowing me and Henry's alcohol percentage that we can take in
Yeah. Well, it was also
at the night, it's the little story that I want to bring, and I'm sure Henry would love to tell this story. So
Well,
one night, this is where Henry and I became friends. We met up at a party. We must have had at least 5, 6, 7 beers, and we were completely fine. It takes a lot out of, that's what sucks about being a heavyweight with alcohol. It costs so much in order to get a good light buzz going on.
Yeah.
Zach, you remember those days?
Yeah, I know. What I could ever do. Well, the only other thing too that I was gonna say was because when me, my mom, and the friend of ours at the time, we went to it was after the Sam Adams tour. We went to you take one of those trolley trains, and it was to a place called Doyle's, and it was like where one of the founding fathers, I think, signed the Declaration of Independence or something like that. I don't really remember, but the food there was banging good. And like I said, I just thought it was funny how we kept getting pictures of beer, and I'm like, damn, this is like amazing.
Right,
Oh
I'm gonna
man,
end.
we
I'm
so
gonna end the
wasted.
video here, guys. It's about that time.
Yeah.
Like always, it was good having you on here, Henry. Maybe we'll get another video going on soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate the opportunity to be on here. Good talking to you guys. Good talking to you, Zach.
All right,
And
Henry, maybe I'll talk to you on the next time on the flip side.
For sure, man. For sure, man.
as
Cheers to that.
always, we got Morbius, the king of the red and the blue pill.
Yeah.
My name's Anthony Michael, and this is officially an episode of Beer Bros, the podcast. Finish off. You can't tell because of the background, but cheers.
Yeah. Later, folks.
Later.